The Unk War. Alright, that's what I care about more than this stupid statement. I don't care about this. Alright. I don't care. Alright. Well, I do care because, like, she said something. Very cool. But what matters the most right now is the Unk War. So it all started with this tweet. Actually, no, not this tweet, okay? It started with this tweet. This tweet right here. Because Chud Logic, alright, the Unk of the English folk, he has been on a crusade against those who are sweeping this up. They're not covering it. Alright, okay. Well, they were not covering it. They weren't covering it fast enough. And I agree, alright, this came out like the 16th, I believe. Or maybe the 16th. It came out on the 16th, alright. Everyone got their Kai Snap video up. They got their Hassan video up. They didn't get their Turkey Tom video up. Okay, they didn't get that up. That situation broke on like, what, Friday? But they didn't get that video up. So, Chud Logic, yesterday, alright, he was going on about the sweeping. So we're going to read about this. From the YouTube drama subreddit post on the Turkey Tom allegations. I'm a comparative nobody on YouTube. Come on, Unk, you got 50k, you get like 1k viewers. Like, come on, man. That's not true. You're not nobody. We love you. This was a day ago. There's an obvious reluctance for a large commentary channels to talk about this. We would be flooded with videos with hundreds of thousands of views from various channels if this was about items. And this is a sentiment you just have to agree with. Bro, if Anissa was on the stream with items talking about some, yeah, we age play in the bed. Yeah, we do that. Yeah, I hit items when we're in the bed. I do that all the time. If that's what she was on the stream talking about, bro, 5 million videos. Okay, 5 million videos talking about that for like 2 days straight. Not even, bro, like 5 days straight. You're gonna see like 20 videos talking about Anissa beats Ida in the bed. And she does age play. She pretends Ian is a little boy. That's what would be the videos coming out if that was exposed. But we're gonna continue. Go and look. It's absolutely crazy how little coverage there is on this topic. And this was a day ago. Okay, this is just a day ago. This was just a day ago. The allegations broke on like Friday. Is there anyone besides Chud that has gone over it in full? Not that I'm aware of. And this was true. That was a true sentiment 2 days ago, just to be clear. Alright. And he goes over who's covered it. My coverage, Cam Nuggets. Alright. Classic old name. You have to know. If you know, you know. Internet versus video. Connor. Alright, shout out Connor. Nicholas Euro stream from last night. That was like Friday. So, and a variety of shitters with 20, 30,000 views each. Why is no one talking about this? Genuine question, by the way. There are a number of possible answers. And this is where it starts. So this person, they say, I love each other, but it's because there's nothing there. It do numbers with the believe all victims crowd, though. And this is not true because I'm not going to be like, the only issue is the hypocrisy. Because, you know, he is recording without consent. Alright, that is a problem. That's an issue. He is hitting people before being like, he's hitting people in the bed, and he's like, and he doesn't ask before he's doing that. And that's not good stuff. That's not cool. So there's a little, you know, there's a little victimness in this, but overall they're just releasing this to like humiliate him, which I could confidently say. There isn't much believe all victims thing here. It's just this dude who always calls out degenerates on his stupid videos where he reads off some thread is like allegedly age playing and hitting women in the bed. That's what he's allegedly doing. And yeah, he's a hypocrite, okay? Hypocrisy. You beat women in the bed while you make videos about queers. You're a hypocrite. That is my criticism, at least. But what matters the most At least what I think is how he responds, because he gets all his information from Kiwi Farms. Every single bit of it, he gets it from there. And what he's trying to do is farm money, talking about some dudes who are kind of weird. Even if they didn't even do anything. Alright? Even if they didn't do anything that serious. But a lot of times they do in the videos, I will say. He's just farming money off talking about weirdos. And now he's got a thread and they're posting his weirdo stuff on there. So I think how he responds to this is what matters the most. But we continue with the Unk War, okay? Retarded reasoning for why this isn't being covered. Bad allegations get covered and critiqued all the time. Also, I disagree that there is nothing there. Tom allegedly being into age play is 100% a story, even if you disagree with the allegation. I've never once said I unquestionably believe all the claims. Have said much is not evidenced in my coverage like anyone else that covers similar topics could do. Okay, so he says, I haven't done anything that crazy. I've just went over this stuff. I've made fun of the guy, like everyone reasonably should, because they make fun of people all the time for the littlest things. They make a billion Hassan videos, a billion items videos about the most minuscule things, okay? Items farted on stream and he's eating beans off a plate. He's eating beans off a paper plate. That's the videos that come out about items. But Turkey Tom gets exposed for age play and beating women. Alright. They're not snappy with that video. They're not snapping to make that. So, I think this is a completely reasonable position to have. But this is where everyone's favorite old drunk steps in, okay? Everyone's favorite old, annoying drunk. Everyone's favorite. He steps in. He says, I'll translate for you. This Turkey Time story isn't being covered. Equals, this is being covered, just not in a dishonest way. I covered it, so everyone is a sweeper. That's what Timmy C is stating, alright? That's what he thinks. Also, why do less people seem to care what I think each day goes by? You're welcome. I don't even know what this is trying to say, if I'm being genuinely honest. This is being covered, just not in a dishonest way. I covered it, so everyone is sweeping. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that people, they just aren't rushing to cover this like they would anything else. That's what Mr. Chud is saying. He's not saying people are sweeping, but people are definitely not rushing to talk about this when it's the only substantial thing that has probably happened all year, except someone being shot by ICE officers, if you consider that a happening. But realistically, nothing has happened that much. It's just the same items on slop every day. But something finally happens and people are slowing down. They're just not in the mood to say anything, as snappy as they would for anybody else. That's the criticism here. So, Mr. Chud responds, you're raped and washed. Ooh, so we're getting feisty. We're on the attack now. Mr. Chud, he's going for this. So, we have another tweet here, okay? All I know is Tom has a big dick. This is, yeah. But what more can you say, really? People say sweeping. This might be sweeping, okay? To a smaller extent, he's just like, oh, all I know is he has a huge cock. This is like cum gargling on a different level. So, Tommy C comes out with another tweet here. I get why Nick bias is for his friend, but Chud bias is next level. It's for money. And let's not kid ourselves. Everyone is sweeping is a direct attack on Nick by Chud. Barely a full day went by before Chud started hyping this train. Tom may be guilty, time will tell, but what Chud did is just a YouTube move for clout money, and it's not going as well as he thought. I think it is, dude. Alright, he had 1.5k live on like YouTube the other day. I think it's going pretty well. And he posts these screenshots, okay? I just feel like the energy is obviously different around Tom. Dude, I have barely touched on it with the T-Tom stuff. Anyway, man, I'm on this TT stuff now. Retweet, his tweet about this, okay? Bro, why did he post this like 2 times? Are we fucking serious? No big commentary channels have picked up the Turkey Tom story. I'm sick of the big sweep, and I asked you once again to retweet me to spread the word. So he's calling on them. Wait, Tom is being accused of having a video of an ex sucking him off or some shit. Or is the implication that he would weaponize it? Remember when Tom said he was quitting because streamers have terrible lives and they were all miserable? Dude, this Turkey Tom shit is going to go hard. These Tom DMs, okay, talking about Tom getting Destiny sloppy seconds. So, what he's saying here basically is he's talking about Tom too much. He's saying his name too much. Keep his name out your mouth, punk. That's what Tommy C is saying here. It's basically like, because what could be the implication of this? But we have some replies on this side of the screen. All right, I don't know if you can really see them, but I'm gonna read them out. Can you point out where I've said 1. Tom's guilty. People must cover it and condemn Tom. I know you are well past it now, but in all your years, don't you find it odd that none of the large commentary channels have picked this up? This is right for your schizo theories. True. Okay, so he's owning Tom here. Last chance. Didn't work with Nick. Better get Augie in line with your narrative, lol. Good luck. You need it. Augie better not be raped, the most wretched freaks on the planet. I thought he was going to stream about this. We got a lambast demand for age plate really coming from Mr. Catfish. Dude. And I don't think we're trying to lambast anybody, if I'm being honest. We're just making fun of the guy who's talking about losers and pedos and creeps all the time for being kind of a loser and kind of a creep. But I mean, he's fucking alright. Can you really call him a loser? You know, based on who he's fucking alright, you can call him a loser, but he is on some creep shit, if I do say. You know, he's on some weird creep shit, right? He's doing the DDLG stuff, or he's like, beating them, he's punching them, he's like, yeah, bitch. Alright, that is some creepy stuff, okay? And you can't really criticize anyone for their personal relationships. Well, you can if they're like public and stuff, and they're doing fucked up shit, but you can make an observation that this dude covering creeps is kind of a creep himself. Okay, you can make that observation. You're perfectly allowed to. And you can absolutely make fun of him for this stuff. But Mr. Logic, he comes back. He comes back from this, okay? I believe there was another reply, but I'm not sure. No, there wasn't. Okay. But we have this stupid old has-been has stepped off of his knees from throwing Keemstar's cock for cash to totally miss the point and the bigger picture. I know this is hard for you to understand, but there are more channels out there than Nicholas Diorio, and I recognized in my post earlier he has already streamed about this. Try engaging with the points rather than spitting out whatever retarded schizophrenic theories you have dreamt up. Oh, so he roasts you, nigga. He roasted this guy, bruh. Okay. He's saying he sucks Keemstar's cock, right? He's saying there's more guys out there than the big Oreo. And he calls him a schizophrenic tard. So the Unk War is really spicing up. We're getting to really personal insults. We're on the attack, okay? I want to see this flare out. I want to see this go down. But, you know, unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to go down. And I'm going to read a tweet. Alright, hey, Tommy C. SFTP. Alright, instead of drunkenly spurring out on Twitter, why don't you prepare all the points of contention you have and schedule a chat about this with Chud? Now, this is a reasonable question, okay? because I personally am very bored and very tired of seeing these people say things on Twitter. They criticize people all day on their shows, on their streams, but they never want to talk. They never want to have a conversation about any of the points they make ever. It is so obnoxious to just sit there on your queer show, alright, with like either 3,000 or 200 viewers in the two cases that I've seen, that I know, that I'm aware of, to just sit there and talk about people all day, to make criticism of people and take digs at them all day, but to never, ever, ever talk to them publicly, the place where you are criticizing them, where you are digging at them. You never want to talk to them, but you want to criticize them. So it's very obnoxious. And Tommy replies to this tweet, alright, and SFTP2. Chud is getting eaten alive for calling out Tom too early as a means to attack Nick. Everyone could see it, so I'm pretty happy with that decision to wait and see before condemning. For now, Chud has made himself the story by coming off as a cannibal. Not my problem, his. Now this tweet doesn't even make sense, dude, because he has not called out Tom, alright? He's not called the dude out for much of anything. He just went over it. He talked about what was alleged. He said, if this happened, this is whatever. If this happened, there's a bad. Or if this happened, yeah, it's weird. That was the Chud logic coverage of this. He wasn't like, Tom is a freak. He needs to be killed and raped. He needs to have everything burned down. He needs to be banned, right? That was not Chud's take. He was just like, if this is true, he's a fucking weirdo, mate. He's weird. He's a age player. And you guys are going to have to cut him off. And that is a completely reasonable demand because they have cut off people for looking at pictures of little girls. They've done that. And you're perfectly in line to do that. But if someone's being accused of pretending that the girls in his bed are little girls and cracking them, okay, I would say you might have to cut them off if that came out publicly. If you're willing to cut people off over less. So, that is my stance on this. But we have another reply from this substance guy, okay? For a guy who thinks Chud is good as dead on this matter, you are sure running as far as you can from putting the nail in his coffin. Tommy, answer the call, chat with Chud, and put the final dagger in his barely bleeding heart, okay? I just need to see this happen. I want to see the argument unfold. I want to see them battle it out. I want to see the unks fight. I want to see it happen. But I just don't know if it will. And, you know, I have a soft spot in my heart for both of these fellas, alright? I watched Tommy C a few times back in the old days, alright? I watched a couple of his streams. And I watch a lot of Chud Logic, if I'm being honest, alright, just to be clear on my biases. I watch like a lot of his streams, a lot of his VODs. I watch them because he's a nice, fair guy. Fair coverage, fair, honest coverage. Alright, I really appreciate the guy. But I do want to see this call happen. I want to see the unks fight because I'm tired of them battling it out on Twitter and never, ever, 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 you know, never ever hopping on a call publicly and arguing. Dude, I remember there was live streams that were digging at each other, right? Tommy C came out with a video. He was like, Chud Logic's a snake. He's gonna snake us. Alright, we need to cut ties with him. That's what he was saying. And there was literally like 3 levels of reacception at one point. Where this guy, Tommy, he was reacting. He was reacting to Chud. Alright, Chud was reacting to Tommy. And I think Tommy was reacting to Chud. Like there was 3 levels of this shit. Where they never spoke on a call publicly. They just watched each other's fucking videos in a row. Like generally 5 levels of just watching each other. It was like disgusting, bro. Just hop on a call and talk. So I hope that the Unks fight it out. And I hope that we can watch them come to a peaceful resolution, or one of them is totally raped and owned, okay, and quit streaming forever, okay? I hope that happens. I hope we see the war happen. I hope we see the fight. And that's about it for the Turkey Tom stuff.